Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Connected, a Hong Kong action thriller from 2008 that was directed by our good friend Benny Chan, and stars Louis Koo, Barbie Tsu, Nickchung, and Ye Liu. And this is a remake of the 2004 American film Cellular, which starred Chris Evans, Kim Basinger, and Jason Statham. Now, I have seen the original film one time way back in the day. I do remember it being kind of moderately entertaining, despite a lot of flaws. I remember having some lame humor, some annoying characters, and kind of a drawn-out finale. Not a terrible piece of entertainment, but this is one of those situations where the remake was actually better than the original film. So Grace Wong, played by Barbie Tsu, is driving her vehicle. Her car gets knocked over by another vehicle and she's abducted on the scene. The kidnappers, led by Ye Liu's character, return to her house, they kill her maid, and they start searching the place for a vital piece of evidence. Grace is then taken to an abandoned location where she manages to repair a destroyed telephone. With the phone, she manages to contact Louis Koo's character, a single father and debt collector who must race to figure out a way to rescue her and stop the bad guys. So the heart and soul of this movie is the pacing, which is basically a non-stop series of chases and suspense scenes from start to finish. One of the big highlights is the first big car chase. It's very purely entertaining. You get Louis Koo's character causing all kinds of collateral damage. I mean, the scene is fun because it gets more and more ridiculous as it moves along. You have this average guy, like everyday guy, who's attempting to save a little girl who gets kidnapped. It's Barbie Tsu's character's daughter. And he causes an astronomical amount of automobile and building damage attempting to save her. And it must have totaled millions of dollars within the reality of the film, and probably even in real life. Because you could tell the filmmakers destroyed a number of cars while shooting that scene. So, and one other thing I noticed is that when cars crash in this movie, they don't explode automatically, which gives it, kind of a slightly realistic vibe. Another highlight is the fight in the mansion with the lady assassin, and that was kind of short but sweet. I like that scene. Now, I do like how Benny Chan is able to incorporate some suspense throughout the entire film. And I think it's in the way the movie is constructed overall. It's very well directed. He's somehow able to preserve an element of realism to things, even when the action design can get a bit exaggerated. And I think that was good in this. I think it helps to maintain that suspense. Character logic in this movie, it's surprisingly strong, which helps. I do think they do a good job of setting up how our main protagonist eventually comes to believe that this woman is kidnapped and in mortal danger. He just gets a call on his phone, and he's just thinking, like, what is this? You know what I mean? But it would be a big jump if he just automatically just decided to risk his life to, like, save this woman on the other side of the phone, because it could be a prank call. But I think they do a good job of, like, using multiple scenes, kind of setting it up, where he kind of, like, figures out, like, man, there's something really bad going on here, and then he goes all in to save her, which it was good. You know what I mean? I thought it was a good setup. And then they also slowly implement the presence of the police, which kind of forces our protagonist to take matters into his own hands for a while. Like, as soon as he gets this phone call and he starts to, like, suspect something could be wrong, he immediately flags down a traffic cop and tells him. But because of the situation, the traffic cop, played by Nickchung, he's not totally buying in on this story. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, listen, if it's really a problem, go and tell the local, police box office or whatever, or local department, if it's really a problem. I'm just a traffic cop. But things get out of hand, and Louis needs to immediately get into gear to stop what's happening. So I thought they did a good job of kind of setting those elements up, and Nick Chung's character does re-enter the situation later on in the middle section, and it feels like more organic than a film like this typically would be. I think Nick Chung's character as the kind of the cop is pretty observant. You respect his ability to logically deduct what's happening, and he becomes suspicious that something's going on himself after recognizing the use of Cantonese and Mandarin. And you'll see that happen, and it's like, oh, okay. And he puts two and two together, because Nickchung talks to this lady, Barbie Tsu's character, on the phone for maybe like 10 seconds. And throughout the rest of the film, the minimal amount of information she gives him in that like 10-second period, he remembers it, and he kind of pieces things together. And so you kind of have respect for the cop character in this movie being at least competent in his job. So yeah, it's pretty good. I think the script writing in Connected is actually a little bit stronger than your typical Benny Chan movie, which can get pretty brainless, let's be honest. There are some amusing scenes, some I guess brief scenes of comedic effect, like a scene where Koo goes into a phone store, you know what I mean? Telephone store, and he needs to get a cell phone charger because the battery's running out. And if he loses connection with this lady, he may never be able to contact her again. And it's a stressful situation for our protagonist, but the guy behind the counter, he doesn't care, so that was pretty funny. And then there's a scene where Barbie's character actually, manipulates or deceives a man on the other end of the phone line after he accidentally steals the phone from Koo. So, you get some limited scenes of amusement here, which kind of helps to balance things out. I mean, Louis Koo basically plays the dad in every movie ever. He's separated or divorced from his wife, always promises to be there for his son, but he never is. He's one of those guys. He's basically Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from Jingle All the Way, is basically what he is. But I like how he's a normal dude, and that's a strength of Louis Koo. He's really good at playing like the everyday man. He's not a badass character. He's in way over his head, and he's running around, working up a sweat the entire time trying to save this lady. And his character does fail to accomplish certain goals, so it infuses a certain vulnerability and relatability to him that's important. And then we have Barbie's character, who has some electronic skills that justifies her ability to kind of like jerry-rig a broken phone. And she gives a good performance in this. I do like this actress overall. And then Nickchung, kind of a low-ranking patrol officer. He was formerly an inspector, and then he got demoted for certain reasons. And he, early on in the film, he gets mocked by some of his colleagues. But throughout the film, you could tell this dude's got some legit skills, at his job. And then Ye Liu, pretty intimidating as the villain. He did a good job in this. So, really, when you assess Connected overall, somehow the filmmakers were able to avoid at least some of the frequent flaws associated with remakes, and they created a very entertaining film, fast-paced, fun to watch, that I think is better than the original that it was based on. And I recommend this. It's a good time. I would say the easiest way to get this now is the all-region 2-disc DVD that's floating around. It has some special features, including a feature-length commentary by Benny Chan with English subtitles. And it's a really good commentary, by the way. He does a great job on it. So this is one to check out if you want something entertaining and briskly paced. And as always, I will see you next time.